guys, and welcome back to my channel. Probably before Christmas I asked my Instagram followers, sort my pillows out as well. That's gonna annoy me, ignore that pillow. So before Christmas time I put on my Instagram story about whether people would want to see a video all about running a business and dealing with anxiety. And even if you don't run a business, if it's just kind of dealing with anxiety on a day-to-day basis whilst working, and it all came from the fact that I asked to go back to my sixth form and do a speech to the current sixth formers, talk to them about my journey from sixth form to now. I didn't take the conventional route to go away to university. I actually stayed at home and studied at a local university, and it was just kind of showing them that it's okay to do something different. You know, normally when people go to university they go away, and that wasn't for me. I was telling them basically, do what you want to do, stay true to yourself, and then the rest will follow. Something that I did touch when I was speaking to the students was about anxiety. When I first had my first pang of anxiety, I didn't actually know what anxiety was, so I didn't know that it was what I was going through. And I actually went through it 2 times before I even realised what it was. If I could just kind of enlighten you guys about anxiety and my journey with it, then I feel like it could help a lot of people. For me, it took me until I was 23 to realise what anxiety was. For me, having anxiety was it comes in waves, and when I get it really, really bad, I find it really kind of difficult to deal with. Well, I did find it really difficult to deal with, and I would kind of go into shutdown mode. When I get anxiety, it happens over a period of months, so I'll have it really, really badly for about 3-4 months, and then I don't have it for 6 or 7 months. So when I got my first wave of anxiety, I didn't actually tell anyone for the first 2 times. I thought that I was crazy, and oh my god, it's really hard to talk about. But the first 2 times I had it, my first particular time was when all of my friends were going away to university, and I obviously decided to stay at home. And for about 3 months prior to everybody leaving, I found things really, really difficult, and I'm a really sociable person, and I love going out and being with my friends, but I found myself not wanting to do that. Everything that I would say to people, I would be worrying about what I was saying and whether people were judging me. So it's something that I definitely want to discuss, and when I did ask on my Instagram stories, everyone wanted to hear about it. I thought I would make the video, and if I could help any of you, not many people actually watch my videos, but if I could help some of you, then that would really make me happy. So I've written down a few kind of bullet points just so that I can make more of a structure to this video. I think these are kind of the things that have worked for me, so they may not necessarily work for you, but the whole journey of dealing with anxiety is actually learning what works for yourself. You have to try different things. Obviously ask people for tips, but when it doesn't work for you, don't fixate on it and think, oh my god, this isn't working and I can't do this, I can't get over this. It's just different things work for different people. My first thing that is the most simplest thing for you to do is when you feel your kind of wave of anxiety. So we've all got different triggers. Personally, my trigger is, it's kind of more business related or anything related to change. First tip is to arrange to see friends, but I would say arrange to see friends that you feel the most comfortable with, that you feel that if you are feeling low and you are feeling really anxious, that there's somebody that gets that, and there's somebody that you can talk to about it. The worst thing you can do is spend time with someone that really doesn't get it, especially one-on-one time, because if you might try to speak about it and they don't fully understand. It's going to be difficult and you're probably going to go away feeling even worse. Every time I would meet with someone, and especially friends or family that got me, I would come away feeling that little bit lighter, and I could have spent the whole time crying to them, but it's so important to get out and see people and get it off of your chest. But also know that it's okay to stay in if you don't want to see anybody. That's okay too. Just make sure you're not being a recluse and like don't cut all people off from your life. Like, don't stop doing things completely, but don't really exclude yourself, because that will only make you feel worse in the long run. So my second tip as well is to get help. When I say get help, that could be in a variety of different ways. So the first one is speak, like I just said from the previous tip, is to speak to family and friends who are supportive and understand what you're going through. So for me, my main support network were a few friends that really got what I was going through and had been through it themselves, and also my boyfriend and my family. They were a massive support system, and I definitely wouldn't have got through the last kind of time that I was feeling anxious without them. The last time I was anxious, it was from when I set the business up in June up until September time, and it was probably the worst anxiety that I've ever had. It was a mixture of change, it was a mixture of setting up a business in the unknown, not having any money, having to rely on other people, and not really knowing what I was doing and where I was going with my life. So it was like a mixture of different things. Like I'd gone through previous situation where something didn't end very well, and it made me feel really insecure, and it just really got to me, and it was something that I couldn't let go of. It's compiled like all of those emotions, and I was feeling just so lost and the lowest that I've ever felt. So having that support network that really wanted to make me feel better was just so important. Another way to get help is just simply going and speaking to your doctor. So it was like when I was in my 3rd month of feeling really rubbish, I remember being sat with my mum, and she was just like, okay, something needs to change here, like you're not getting any better. I just think that you need to go and see your doctor. I ended up going to finally see my doctor, and she was the most loveliest person about it all, and so referred me to an organisation that's called Steps to Wellbeing. I don't know if it's a UK-wide thing, but they're NHS based, and they're all about helping people that are either like depressed or have anxiety or just have any issues mentally, and they just refer you to a particular type of kind of program. So there's different various options that you can do, but if you are feeling that way, I would 100% recommend go to your doctors, speak to them. They'll find you the best type of solution for you, because everybody's different. I now go and see a guy, and I go every Monday, and we just go through everything, and it's really proactive. So he basically talks me through different situations that I've like gone through, and then we work our way through it, and he then gives me homework to do, and over that week I will then go away and do the homework, and on the following Monday I go back and we talk about what I found and how we can like progress further, and whether we need to talk about it more, and whether we need to focus on it more, and things like that. I would say if you are doing CBT, make sure that you're being proactive and you are doing the homework. CBT has definitely worked for me, and if you don't know what CBT stands for, it's cognitive behavioural therapy, and I would recommend it to anybody that has struggled with anxiety. It's really proactive, and for me it works because I like getting set tasks, and I like to see things on a bit of paper and knowing that I'm kind of stepping further and progressing. I just needed to know why I was feeling that way and how I can stop myself and prevent myself from going back down that route. But yeah, my second tip is to read. So this is something that has probably been the biggest factor in me feeling so much better. So I had to wait 1.5 months to then be referred to somebody. I thought to myself, what can I do to make myself feel better, and to kind of help myself before I get referred to anybody. And I basically read a lot, whether that be blogs or forums online. I watched a lot of TED Talks, I watched a lot of videos about anxiety, but yeah, I just found reading about the brain and reading about dealing with emotions and kind of situations really helped. My standout book is definitely The Chimp Paradox by Professor Stephen Peters. This was recommended to me by a friend, and I talked about this in my 2017 favourite. So if you watched that video, you would have seen me briefly touch on it. But it was such a good book. It's like really basic, like it teaches you about your brain. The Chimp Paradox is basically, it splits your brain into sections, which obviously your brain are split into sections anyway, and he talks about your chimp and your human. So at the back of your brain you've got your chimp, which is a small part of your brain, but it's a very strong reactive part of your brain, and then at the front you've got the your human brain. So your human brain is basically everything that you are as a person, everything that you stand for is truly who you are, and most of the time it's who you portray. So if you're a nice person, then that's your human, and all of your nice characteristics and what people really love you for, that's your human brain that's playing that part, and people know. Whereas at the back of your brain you've got your chimp, which is kind of your second voice in your head. So your human is your first voice, and then I kind of explain it. So in my head I've always had, and every single person does, I think every single person does, but most people do have two voices. So you've got someone saying I should do this, but they like the thing that you should do, but then sometimes you have a chimp which is going, oh, but what about this, and then makes you think, and you're kind of having that battle in your head, your two brains kind of battling against each other. And a lot of the time your chimp actually wins. It's a lot stronger than your human brain, and a lot of the time that's when your chimp overrides and overpowers your human. And it's learning to understand that you have got a chimp in your brain, and when you react a certain way and then think, oh, why did I react that way, like that wasn't right, it's knowing that that was your chimp and it wasn't truly who you are. So it helps you rationalize a lot better and gain control over your brain. Any kind of self-help, motivational, interesting book to you that you find works for you. There are so many books out there. And I would say as well, reading is good. Like, I've started to read a lot more fiction books, and it's really good just to kind of take yourself away from a situation, and you kind of enter a different world and you're imagining that world in your head. And I find that's a lot better for your brain, because you're obviously reading, your brain is working a lot quicker, and like I can kind of go completely zone out while reading a book, whereas when I watch TV it's very easy to pick your phone up and start watching the TV as you're on your phone, whereas when you read you can't be on your phone and read. So it's a really good thing to do, read fiction. God, this video is long. My fourth tip is to make lists. So for me, making lists has been really helpful. It's really good to set a structure to your day when you're feeling anxious. When you don't have a structure, you tend to just fixate on something, and I would just go, like I said, I would go into shutdown mode and I wouldn't do anything for the whole day, and I might go and watch a few videos on YouTube about anxiety, and then I make myself feel even worse because I'm not doing anything and I wasn't being proactive, and then at the end of the day I would feel really awful because I haven't done anything. So I found writing lists is so helpful, and I've basically got a calendar. Wait, I'll go grab it. Okay, I've got it. I have my planner, and every day I write my list. So I just write everything that I need to do, and it just really helps to structure your day, and it just makes you feel good when you can cross something off. It's really satisfying, and it's even small things like go and buy some oranges, or really random, but go to and get a coffee. Even writing things like that on your list is really good because it creates a structure for your day, but not only can you get the satisfaction of crossing it off, it's, even though it's not something like work related, it still makes you feel good because you're planning your day and you're being proactive and you're getting yourself out there and you're doing something that you need to do. I mean, if you need oranges, you need oranges, so write it on your list so you don't forget. Next tip is to go for walks. So it can be walking into town to pick up your coffee or buy your oranges, or it can be walking, taking your family dog for a walk, or if you've got a dog, it's going for a walk, or having a friend that's got a dog, it's phoning them up and saying, look, I really need to get out of the house, do you want to go walk your dog? And it's so nice because you're getting fresh air, you're clearing your head. I feel if you're in a rut and you're just feeling like you're going down in a downward spiral, or you're going, like I say, into shutdown mode, get yourself out of the house, get some fresh air, clear your head, and then when you come sit back down and do any task that you've set out to do in your day, then it's monumental to getting things done. You just need to clear your head. And obviously I'm lucky because I work from home and I work for myself, so I can go out whenever I want. But if you work in an office and you don't have that freedom, it's little things like knowing when you're getting stressed when you're doing a task and thinking you can't get your head around it. Make sure it's just like getting up and thinking, okay, I'm gonna go make myself a drink, or I'm gonna go get some water, or I'm just gonna walk around the office and just do a lap and sit back down. It's time away from your desk where your head is just exploding with information and trying to do everything in a short space of time. So if that means you have to take your, I don't know if you can take your lunch whenever, but if you want to take your lunch early, or just take a few deep breaths and think, right, okay, and you'll feel so much better. My 7th tip is exercise. I was feeling low. Exercising was not something I was doing. Last thing I wanted to do was go into a gym surrounded by all these different people that just looked amazing, and I just didn't feel amazing. For me, this year in January, I've set myself a goal. So in this book as well, this is an amazing book, and I don't know who it's by. At the front of the book, I have every month, I've got a goal tracker, and I need to review all my goals. So you have your goal tracker, you write down your goals, and then, I don't know if you can see, but you write, I put a dot in every time that I've completed the goal. And my January goal was to go to the gym a minimum of 3 times a week, and I have managed to do that, which is amazing, and I've been going more than 3 times a week, and I feel so good for it. Like, I just feel so much fitter, and I'm actually starting to enjoy the gym, which I never thought I'd say because I've always hated it, but I'm enjoying exercising, and when I don't go, I actually miss it. I'm not trying to get obsessed by me saying 3 times a week, it's just being lenient, and if I don't go 3 times, it's fine, but setting that goal as just a target for you to reach, and when you do reach it, you feel amazing for it. Then the next tip is to celebrate. I remember reading something and it said, any little thing that you do in life, celebrate it. So if you've achieved something, whether it be one of your goals for the month, celebrate it. And that could be by just going for a coffee for yourself, by yourself, treating yourself, going for a coffee and doing some work in a coffee shop and taking yourself away from your home or from your work or whatever you're doing. Or phoning up a friend and saying, do you know what, do you want to go get a drink tonight? Do you want to go to the pub tonight? Or do you want to go to a bar and get a drink? Or it can be cooking a really nice meal, or getting a takeaway, or going out for dinner with your partner, or going for a walk with a friend, but talking about what you've achieved, and then ask them what they've achieved, and then you can celebrate together. And it's just little things like that that I just think is so important, and it just makes you realise why you're living this life and why you're doing what you're doing, because you enjoy it and you want to celebrate what you achieve. And everyone should just celebrate things because you just got to be proud. And then finally, my last tip, which I'm sure you're glad to hear, is to sleep. It's like, sleeping is so important. I can't personally function on no sleep. My boyfriend says to me that I'm the nicest, most chilled person, but when I have no sleep and I'm hungry, I'm a really horrible person. So for me, I need sleep massively. So definitely try and get your 8 hours. If some people can work on 6-7 hours, for me, I need that 8 hours, otherwise I'm just not nice. I can't function and it's just not a good day for me. And I know that some people, when they have anxiety, they can have trouble sleeping. Sleeping was like my escape, so I used to sleep and not want to wake up. But if you are having trouble sleeping, then have a bath and start winding down like a few hours before you sleep, and don't go on your phone. When I go on my phone, I can't sleep. Have a bath, use a pillow spray, get lavender, put some lavender oil in your bath, get a lavender pillow spray, or there's loads of different pillow sprays out there that are meant to be amazing. And yeah, like I said, don't use your phone. They say don't use your phone an hour before you go to sleep. So that's why I like to read, because it's obviously like time to wind down and it's something to focus on without being on my phone and like stimulating the brain. So yeah, that's all of my tips. A very long tip video, but I feel anxiety is something that's like so important to me, and I'm really passionate about it, and I want to give you as much information as I can. Obviously, you don't like, if you've gone through this whole video, I salute you, because this was really long. But yeah, I hope that I've helped some of you if you deal with anxiety or any type of anxiety, or just if you're having a shit day at work, or just a shit time in general, then I hope that I've helped some of you. I'm sorry I ramble on so much. I'm not a concise person. I wish I was. If you don't follow me on social media, then search at Jade Dare UK and give me a little follow. If you did like this video, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye guys!